We're here today with James O'Connor, designer of Welcome to Dino World and Jewelers Row.
Welcome to Design Diary, the podcast where you get to look inside my board game design notebook as well as what's going on inside my head. We look at a new word each day from the sense of mechanics, tone, theme, or inspiration for a full game. Today's word is...
Caravansary. I don't even know if did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought Caravansary. Caravansary. It's an inn surrounding a court in Eastern countries where caravans rest at night, or a hotel or inn. So what does that do for you? First of all, can you say it? Did I say it right?
You nailed it. It was Caravansary, and I was actually doing some research on it and trying to kind of get familiar because I had never heard this term before in my entire life. I looked at it, I was like, how do you even say that? And the app helped me, but you actually said it right in both ways because apparently they spell it Caravansary with A-R-Y or Sari, S-A-R-I, which means inn or place to stop, apparently. But when I read the definition you sent me, it mentions Eastern countries, and the first thing that popped into my head was caravans in like Middle Eastern Europe. And I was like, oh, okay, well, so you have caravans filled with werewolves and vampires and stuff going around Transylvania and stuff.
Of course.
That's cool, yeah. But then I did a little bit more research too, and it's specifically these rest stops for caravans that were going through the desert and stuff in the Middle East. So I was trying to come up with something like that from a couple different perspectives. And apparently these were almost like fortresses. They're big square buildings with only one entrance in or out. They're meant to kind of house travelers, keep their camels safe from the wind and bandits and stuff like that, and give you a nice place to stop as you're going down these huge trails through the desert. So I was like, okay, well, there's a couple ways you can approach that. With a word like this, it sets such a thematic tone. You really can't ignore it, right? You just kind of have to just roll with it. There's not really a lot of opportunities. You can kind of go from a perspective of a single caravansary where you're running it and trying to build up, get bigger, stronger walls, be able to hold larger caravans with more camels, or from the perspective of a caravan visiting multiple caravansaries and stopping at different destinations. So
yeah, you can't go with hotel or inn as your approach on this. You have to go with the first definition.
Right, you got to go all in. And so I was like, okay, well, there's a lot of games that are out there that are hotel management games, like this hotel, the Grand Austrian Hotel and Saloon Tycoon. I was like, well, this if I went with this, it would feel kind of like a different theme on the same sort of mechanics. So I decided to go with the more of the caravan visiting multiple caravanaries perspective. And so when I decided to go down that route, there was two routes. Okay, either can I start with this huge caravan with lots of camels, and then all these players are, have their caravans, and they're trying to keep them from getting whittled down as you go down over this long journey, or start with a very small caravan and try to build it up as you go. So I was kind of looking at those two perspectives, and it seemed like starting with something really big and grandiose and trying to lose the least didn't seem like as fun of a game perspective. I didn't have as many camels starve to death as you on the trail, so I win.
I don't mind a game where, the lose the least is interesting. I like games where there's one loser, which is UFO, which was the one we did. Every time I play Cosmic Encounter, we try to make it so there's one loser out of everybody. But losing the least is it's to me it's the only way. If we can all win, have this 4-way high five while one person's sitting there just in tears, then we did the game right.
Definitely. Yeah, so I decided to go with the build up because that's more of a traditional. You start with something small and kind of add to it. So I figured, okay, well, if you had a board and you're trying to get from one corner of the board to the opposite corner of the board, and you have these branching paths with different stops throughout the desert, and you're trying to get from point A with your little caravan, and then whoever gets to point B on the far end of the board with the most money is the winner. So you have to buy goods, camels, water for your trips, provisions, and then you have to hit all these stops that are on the way. So you have these branching paths and this web of stops, and there's multiple ways you could go, and they have different risk reward levels. So you can go very straight direct path, but maybe there's a lot of dangers on that path. Or you can kind of go the longer way around and, possibly save yourself from being exposed to the elements or to bandits or whatever. So everyone's kind of trying to race to get to the end to sell off all their caravan of goods.
Neat.
So I actually kind of like the way this ended up. So I'm envisioning a game where there's like, okay, you got a couple of resources you're kind of playing with. You've got goods, those are the things you're trying to transport and sell in the other place. You've got camels, which carry the goods, so one camel can carry one good. And you got water that you need to feed to the camels to keep them going as you traverse from spot to spot. So if you're trying to go from two places on the map, it might say, okay, you need to feed each camel 2 cubes of water, because that's how people carry water, is in cubes. And so each camel needs 2 cubes to get from here to there.
It's like dry ice.
Exactly. Or maybe you have to roll a die and you don't know, could it be, very little, or could it be very, very expensive to feed my camels? And so the bigger your caravan gets, the more you have to, carry water with you to feed the camels. So I'm kind of envisioning like you have this like these tokens, these little camel tokens, and on one side you have a fresh camel who's ready to go. Yeah, put the goods on me and let's go. And there's like a little dashed line saying, okay, you put a cube on this camel and now that camel's carrying a good. Or if you can't give that camel water, you flip the token over and now that token looks all tired and depressed, his tongue's hanging out. And so if you don't give him some water this turn, then you're going to lose that camel and any goods he's carrying.
Nice.
Yeah. So and then each stop, each little place along this web of paths along your trail, there's markets where you can go and you can buy goods for money, and they all have conversion rates. Here they sell goods really cheap, but camels are expensive, or water is really expensive, or vice versa. Or there's caravansaries, the titular visitation stop, and there you can get water for a very small price. It's very cheap. And there's oases where water is free, but it could be a mirage, and you wouldn't know that
cool.
if you got there. So you're trying to kind of plan your route, grow your caravan of camels, buy goods, and you have to have camels to carry the goods. So you're kind of trying to keep that balance, but you're trying to kind of look out for danger. So there's like a couple different dice that would be in the game. There's like one die that's the heat die, and along certain paths, if you go this way, you have to roll a die, and there's a variable amount of heat. And so if it's 1, that's not so bad. You give each camel one water and they're okay. Or if it's 3, you have to give each camel 3. And if you don't have enough, they start getting tired. Or you start losing camels and the goods they're carrying. And then there's also like maybe a danger die. And so if you go this way, you have a known heat, but you might encounter bandits who will steal some of your goods or some of your money, or you might lose a camel or something like that. So you're kind of trying to balance, okay, I've got some extra camels, I can probably take a risk here with the bandits, or I'm really low on water, I better take the safe route and go over here. So you're trying to balance the mix of those resources as you kind of go through the desert, try to outmaneuver your opponents. And whoever gets to the end first, they can sell all of their goods, all their camels they have left, get a little bonus for being first because, hey, new stuff is here. Everyone's very excited. And so you sell all that stuff, you get a big windfall of money, and then everybody else gets in there. The payout is a little bit less as you arrive, but maybe you have a larger caravan that can make up for it. And so then at the end, everyone sells their camels, they sell the goods they made it in with, and then everyone totals up the money, and whoever has the most is the winner.
Wow, you have the whole thing. You got it down. Do you know who likes
I was very proud of my brain when I came up with.
Oh yeah, no. See, that's much further than a lot of mine make it, and some of mine I want to go back. I mean, you even asked me if I've gone back to any, and I rarely do because I have to just move on to the next one just for moving this whole podcast forward. But I have the weekends free, and that's when I can kind of look at my notebook and kind of pick from it. And what I've been doing is rewriting all my notes into another notebook, but in shorter form. Like, here's like the essence of episode 1, and if I need to refer back to this, I have it here cataloged. And I'm just, if I'm doing this every day, I might as well, use it when it's time to come up with a, movement mechanic, for example. But no, this is cool. You've got the whole thing. And you know who likes a good camel game? It's Chris Kirkman from Dice Hate Me. That's like his one of his.
Oh, there you go.
He will always play a
Chris,
camel.
if you're listening, this one's had exactly 24 hours of thought put into it, so it's baked and ready to go.
I'm sure he's seen worse. As a publisher, I'm sure he's seen worse. Do you? So this was.
Oh, this all kind of. I was saying, as I was kind of putting it all together, I was like, this, it's all kind of falling into place. Everything kind of makes sense, and it's all just kind of, as I was writing down on the paper, just like it all seemed to kind of fit together. I was like, I better check and make sure this isn't already a game that I just didn't accidentally copy. So I was checking all the different Caravan games last night that I could think of, and no, it's not. It's not like Century Spice Road or anything like that. So I think I'm okay.
There were two that I was thinking as you said it. Oh, what were they? First of all, just like thematic Oregon Trail, the video game. I've never actually played the board game, but I just think of something along those lines, and just people dying of dysentery, of course. It's
that's all it's all about.
It's the only thing that came out of that. But there was another one that, as you were mentioning, I was trying to think. I have no idea what it was, though. I should have mentioned it as you were going. But what you said was a hotel game. You mentioned that going through, and it made me think, like, every designer has their hotel game. I don't know if you have one, but I have one.
No, I haven't gotten to that level of prestige yet.
Oh, okay. So mine is... And I'm not going to say what mine is because I feel like it's super clever and I've been holding on to it for like 2 years. And all it is just a simple turn mechanic. And that's it. Like the turn mechanic is what is clever about it. The rest of the game needs to function and be a thing. But it's all built around this turn mechanic that I want to work on at some point. But
Caravansaries could be the perfect theme for that.
It can't, not for this turn mechanic. I'll tell you in secret afterwards if you promise not to tell anybody. So it made me think of
no such guarantees.
It made me think of what are those initial like game ideas that everybody has. Like I feel like everybody has like I call it an avatar builder, but a game where there's like a head, a torso, and legs, and they all do something, they all behave in a different way. Yeah. So I feel like there's
I was actually just playing with that the other day.
I feel like everybody has one of those, and a hotel is one of those ones that's a little later in the process, but everybody will hit that at some point. I think. I don't know. But the
That's
avatar
like a checklist for new designers. Have you created a hotel game yet? Yes. Okay.
But yeah, there's got to be some more of those. I'm gonna tweet that out and see what are those definite, first designer games that you have to make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can tell what level designer you are by what kind of games you've made so far.
Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely funny. So tell us how everybody can find out some more about you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm on Twitter at Stellaris Games. Stellaris, not like the Stellaris computer game. That's not mine.
Cool.
I get random tweets from that sometimes.
Do you really? That's always fun.
Yeah, it's a good game, but it's not mine.
And so I know that you won a contest recently, so tell everybody about that.
Oh yeah, actually I was the winner of the Gen Cant Roll and Write contest for 2017. So I created a game called Welcome to Dino World. It's a little roll and write game where you're building a dinosaur theme park and you're adding dinosaurs, building little pens for them, getting some buildings that give you special abilities, trying to control the dinosaurs, and plays with solo or large groups because everyone kind of shares the same pool of dice, and you're trying to make sure you don't recreate the events of Jurassic Park too much, or else they're going to close down your park and you're going to lose.
Or come to you for IP money.
Exactly. Yeah, that one's actually still looking for a home right now. I'm shopping that one around.
Do you have do you have like a PDF of it anywhere online that people can play?
Yeah, it's actually still on the GenCant website. So if you just go to gencant.com, it should still be up there for download with the version that was put out there for everybody to play during GenCant. I haven't had them take it down yet because it's still kind of out there, and I want people to get their hands on it and send me feedback.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, look for that. Okay. Well, this was fun, and we'll do this again tomorrow.
Sounds great.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.